Hello everybody, welcome to our second session on sustainable plastic waste management. This is a sideline discussion of IPF Online Fair 2021. IPF Online Fair will start from 5th July to 8th July 2021. Due to COVID pandemic situation, to boost up the economic activities, we decided to make online fair. You will find many interesting products, machinery, and the process technology, so on. Once on the sideline events, we have today's topic is sustainable waste management. As we know that in today's world, we are generating about 2.1 billion tons of waste globally. Most challenges is to make this waste into wealth, bring back to the circular economy, and by 2050, this waste will increase to 3.5 billion tons. So our topics is very important for today. So our today's keynote speaker is Professor Dr. Ijaz Hossain from Bangladesh University of Technology, BUET. Professor Ijaz is well-known personalities and play key role in the different government policy matters. As a panelist, we have with us the Honorable President FBCCI, Mr. Jashim Uddin, is the Vice Chairman of Bengal Group of Industries, with investment in plastic, textile, garments, bank, insurance, and many more. He is also chairman of the Bengal Commercial Bank. We have with us Mr. Khadem Yusuf, Managing Director, BPCL, a waste converter into wealth personalities. He has studied in USA and also worked in Silicon Valley, a very successful entrepreneur. Also we have with us Mr. Masud Siddiqui, the former Secretary, Ministry of Industries, Government of Bangladesh. Presently, he is holding many important positions in different organizations. He always supported the plastic development during his tenure in the office in the ministry. So at this stage, may I request our keynote speaker, Professor Ijaz, to present his waste management presentation, sustainability of waste management presentation. Professor Ijaz.
Thank you very much, Mr. Shamim. It's really a pleasure for me to come and speak in this very important forum. I've been working with this Plastic Association in Bangladesh for a long time, and I really admire that their growth and success that I've seen in the last 15 to 20 years. But we all know that along with the growth of the plastic consumption, which is happening, of course, in all countries in the world, the problems of plastic waste management is also there. And recently, attention is focused all over the world on what is called marine pollution. It appears that all of the plastic or most of the plastic which is littered eventually finds its way into the oceans. And I'm sure all of you have seen horrific pictures of how whales, fishes, and all, they get affected by the plastics that we use. Now, what can we do? We know by now that we cannot do without plastics, because plastics has become a part of our life. I mean, in fact, right now we are talking about plastic as being some people talk about the plastic is injurious to health. But do you realize that the COVID shot injection is given through a sort of an injector which is made of plastic? So how can plastic be injurious to health if our most critical medical stuff is all made of plastic? So there is a lot of misinformation and there is a lot of misunderstanding. However, we all know that the plastic can create a lot of problem. So therefore, I will give a talk on what Bangladesh is doing towards the sustainable plastic management. The work I'm presenting is being done under the World Bank funding by an organization called Waste Concern Consultants. I will present their work. In fact, one of their directors was supposed to make the presentation, and I was supposed to be one of the panelists. But because he is not well, that I am making the presentation on his behalf, but I have worked very closely with them in this area.
We are fortunate also.
It's all right. So framework for multi-sectoral sustainable plastic management plan. I will not go very much detail into the plan. I like to start with what is the situation in Bangladesh, and the recycling is really the key to all these problems that we talk about. Next, please. Here I've talked about the background over here. I will not, in the interest of time, I will not go into it. I've already talked about it, that this is a World Bank project which is ongoing, and the work is to find out the problem areas of plastic management. Where are these plastics going in terms of littering and other kinds of non-collected plastic material? Thank you. Next, please. I've already talked about the object of the study. The way this study was done is to find out some hotspots, and Dhaka, Chittagong and Cox's Bazar were chosen. Essential idea is to find out where plastic is being dumped and not collected. We all know, we live in the city. There are many areas, if you walk past the river, you will find there are many spots where plastic is dumped and nobody is collecting it. Because the government's collection those are not collection points. It's just people dump them over there. Again, why do people dump there? So there's a whole management issue which is involved in here. The next, please. So this study which is being done which divided into 4 main activities: to find out the hotspots, to find the waste composition and material flow, the stakeholders, the people who are involved in this whole process, and somehow talk about a framework for plastic waste management. Next, please. Now, this is the, I'll skip over this because there's too much sort of writing here which is not really, I've already talked about some of this. Next, please. Okay, so this is more useful thing. You can see in the map of Dhaka city, and you can see the rivers which are surrounding Dhaka city, and there are many spots, as you can see, they are marked in red, and then those spots are now shown in pictures. You can see, every one of you who have gone past the river or you've been to the river banks, you have seen those kind of spots where plastic and other kind of waste is lying there. Nobody will collect it because those are not points which the government, the DNCC or DSCC is meant to collect. But people litter, people drop their sort of waste in those points. The study, as you can see, people are dressed in PPE, and this was done during this COVID time, that they are measuring the waste and trying to find out how much of what is there. Next, please. Now, there is a lot of detail here. The important thing here that I like to point out is that this study found that there are 1,212 illegal spots, hotspots in and around the Dhaka city, rivers, khals, and the Buriganga, the Balu, the Shitalakha, and Turag. These were the 4 rivers around the Dhaka city which the study concentrated on, and they found 1,212 spots where waste is being dumped but nobody is collecting. And you know that if a waste is dumped and is there on a river bank, it will eventually go to the river. And if it goes to the river, it will eventually go to the ocean. And if it eventually goes to the ocean, someone in the international community will find out and blame Bangladesh. And if you look at the international data, Bangladesh has already been blamed. It is amazing, that data. If you look at that data, it shows the entire Bangladesh is a worse marine polluter than the entire India. How can that be? Well, one of the things is that if your country is very riverine, a lot of rivers flow into the ocean, and or like in Indonesia is another country where there are a lot of islands, so it's very easy for plastic waste to reach the marine environment. So Bangladesh has become one of the big polluters. In the 1 to 10 countries in the world, Bangladesh is 10th. ahead of India. India is 10 times bigger than us. So how can India? See, India is a lot of India is inland. So these are So these are the areas where the government will have to concentrate, and the waste management will have to. That the World Bank has financed this study to find out these points and how to manage this waste. So there are a lot of details. I'll just go. So next, please. Now, this study is concentrated, like I said, in the Dhaka city. As you know, there are two corporations, the south and the north. Okay, so this the waste of both the corporations is combined here. What they found was that the total waste is 6,400 tons per day. Okay, 6,400 tons per day of waste is produced in the entire Dhaka city, the two corporations. Okay, total waste of all kinds, vegetable waste and all kinds of waste. Of that, the study shows 10% is plastic waste. Okay, so 10%. So in the left-hand side is the big material flow graph, which shows all the waste, and of that, one of them is plastic, 10%, which is 6,000, will be 10%, so it will be 646 tons per day. So 646 tons per day of plastic waste is there in Dhaka every day. Okay, now that is broken down on the right-hand side. Okay, and on the right-hand side, you can see where this plastic waste is going. Okay, some of it is going to the landfill, some of it is getting wasted, some of it is getting littered, and this study has tried to find out how much of it is going to the river and through the river to the ocean. So that was the study based on Dhaka, Chittagong, and Cox's Bazar. Next, please. I'm sure you'll have a lot of questions. I will answer that when the time comes. Now, here is a comparison between 2005, when this study was, the similar study was done, was actually part of that in 2005. And I think that the Plastic Association also helped us in that study. And then this is a 220. This is an amazing result that you will see. In 2005, this study showed that 5.2% of the waste is plastic. But in 2020, 10% of the waste is plastic. Well, it is expected because there is growth and there will be more plastic. But what we are talking about, if there was more recycling, this should have happened. Then the percentage should have been the same, right? Percentage should have been, because, so this is 10% of the waste sorry, this is the 10% of the waste. So we'll have to come to how much is collected. Next, please. Oh, sorry, I'd like to show here that the waste generation rate in 2005 was 0.52 kilogram per capita per day, and the waste generation increased to 0.61 kilogram per capita per day. And the waste, total waste generation in 2005 was 3,315 ton per day, which increased to, which I said earlier on, 6,464 ton per day. Okay, as you know, the population has increased from 6 million to nearly 11 million in 2020. Next, please. Now, what type of material is in this plastic waste? Okay, we're talking about plastic waste, but there are many different kinds of plastic waste. What was found that there are two studies. One is in the household, how much of the waste, and the other is in the landfill, which goes to the Matwail and other areas. In the household, it was found 50% of this material is LDPE. Okay, say 50% of the material. I will come to that. Next, please. Next slide. And in the landfill, 56% is LDPE. Yes, exactly. That's bad news. Okay, and next, please. And that's banned. Remember that in Bangladesh. Next, please. Okay, and this is also a similar graph of the household. As you can see, that which is the offending plastic, which is the offender. Very clear. I mean, you don't have to. I mean, concentrate. It's absolutely the number one. And again, that is the what is it? LDPE single use. So the LDPE, which is going for single use, is the largest contributor in of all the plastics. Next, please. So that's household. Okay. All right, fine. Yeah. So this is another graph from that study which shows, okay, fine. So what type of use is this? Okay, and this is of course expected. You all know that 56% of that is packaging. Okay, so of all the plastic now used in Bangladesh, okay, so we may think of this chair, table, and all these things, but 50%, 56% of all the plastic used in the country now goes for packaging. Is the largest use, and if you and the next largest use is the agriculture. So packaging and agriculture is about 75% of the waste. 75% of the waste is just these two sectors where is there. So if you want to concentrate, you will have to concentrate here in the management plan. Next, please. Now this is the difference between Dhaka city and the total Bangladesh. Well, it is expected that per capita how much plastic is consumed. Okay, so obviously people in Dhaka are more affluent and all. They are able to consume much more. So they are consuming nearly, how much is it? 22 kilogram per capita per day. Okay, people in Dhaka, but the total is 9 kilogram. Total in the country. Of course, if you include villages and this, that, it will be like that. But in Dhaka, the per capita is 22 kilogram today, and in 2005 it was about 10. Dhaka city was 9.2 in 2005, and it has increased to 22.2 in 2020. So it's a huge increase of the consumption in Dhaka city. Next, please. This is a busy slide. I don't want to go it. Many of you know. This is just a graph showing, this is a figure showing how the waste is managed in Bangladesh. Who does the collections? The green ones, the green boxes are the proper formal collection, what the government does, and the orange colored ones are the informal sector. Like there is a van collector, then there is a bhangari dokan, then the wholesaler, and then the tokai and whatnot. So those people are there. So anyways, so this is how waste is collected. In the interest of time, I don't want to go into it, but if anybody is interested, then you can have a look at it here. Next, please. Okay, this is a very interesting graph. A lot of people talk about recycling industry. And in fact, I think somebody contacted me recently. They want to set up a industry to make oil. Everybody is now talking about making oil from plastic. Well, you can of course make oil from plastic because plastic is made from oil. So you can go back, there is no problem.
The reverse engineering.
Reverse engineering, exactly. But if you want to set up an industry, you have to get plastic in your hand. How much would it cost? So this is a very useful graph to see. Now, if you're going to make an industry, you can't get your plastic from the van driver, okay? So you've got to get from a wholesaler, okay? Now, if you go to the wholesaler, as you can see, I'm sure you will notice, it costs 35 to 55 taka per kilogram of PET. So, very soon, this is one of the reasons why the recycling industry is very difficult in developed countries and other countries. And why recycling is difficult is that there is a collection cost. Without incentive, without support, it becomes very difficult. Very, very difficult. Because if you are buying PET, recycled PET, at let's say 50 taka per kilogram, okay, and then your process profit and everything else, and then people say, no, I will rather use virgin material. And that happens all the time in the Western country. In developed countries, that is the problem. The collection charge is so great that the virgin material is cheaper than the recycled material. It's not true in Bangladesh yet, but it might come one day. And then it will stop or it will go down unless government tries to incentivize it. So it's a very, very useful, even LDPE costs nearly 15 taka, 12 to 15 taka per kilogram if you want to get it. So if you want to set up an industry, this is unsoiled. Okay, these are all unsoiled. Soiled, nobody collects. We know what that. I'll talk about that. Next, please. This is the sad part of the whole story about recycling. Very, very sad part in Bangladesh, okay? If you believe this study, okay, it shows that only 36% in the year 2020 was recycled. Only 36% of the total plastic was recycled. Okay. We did the study earlier on 2005. It was more than 50%. Our expectation was by now, but things are going, everybody wants to recycle, everybody is going, it should be 70%. And the Department of Environment also announced it, that in one seminar, even the minister was there, that our recycling rate is 70%. Why? Because if it was to 56% in 2005, by now it has increased. Everything increases, goes up. But no, it has become worse. Only 36% of the plastic. So we have a problem. We definitely have a problem of waste collection, waste management, and I think we all know why this happened. Okay, next please. Multi-layer packaging is the real culprit. We all know that everything, even you buy something for 2 taka, has a plastic packaging. Not a problem, but that plastic packaging is usually a multi-layer packaging and it cannot be recycled easily. So the packaging that you see right now in most things is a multi-layer packaging, and one of the layer is a metal. Okay, and so there are other things. There is glue and everything else. Like you see, look at this multi-layer packaging. There's nylon, then this there's EVCH, LDPE. So you know these, and you can see everyone who has gone to a shop has seen all these things here. Okay, little moshla, little something, all packaged in a small here. The packaging has become so efficient, so cheap, that you can actually package even 1 taka worth of goods in a plastic packaging. And who will collect this? How do you collect it? Little bit of package. You have it, you have some shupari or some moshla, and you throw it away. Who will collect it? How can you collect it? Even if you collect it, how you can't recycle it that easily? It's very expensive to recycle multi-layer. So this is the real culprit. Next, please. And also, we all know about single-use plastic. Okay, you go to any sort of little shop and everything else. Everybody is giving this reusable, one-time use plastic. Okay, why is it called a one-time or single-use plastic? Like straw, like a plastic cup. It will only be in the lifetime of that material. It will be used only once, right? Sometimes for a few seconds. Okay, you have very quickly have your thing and you throw it away. So this is another problem. So what is happening between 2005 and 2020? So these are the material which has increased. All other plastic material, no problem. It is being collected and everything. Who will collect and how do you collect it? Okay, so you have got to work in these things. Okay, I don't believe in banning anything. I think everything can be managed. If you manage, like we are seeing with this coronavirus pandemic, when you manage well, things work well. If you don't manage, you have got a problem which we see in Brazil or something like that. Okay, so even the worst thing, most difficult thing in the world can be managed, but you have to manage it. Next, please. So what is the status of recycling? Has gone from nearly 50% to 36%. Expectation was it would be 70%. Multi-layer packaging and single-use plastics derail the growth of plastic. In this time, in this last 15 years, it was the multi-layer packaging and the single-use plastic which came in, and the recycling went haywire completely. So a lot of littering, people throwing these things everywhere, and these are all rounding up as marine pollution. Next, please. There's a lot of busy slide about what is being done. Things are being done. And I know I'm part of the committee. Who are really responsible for this multi-layer packaging? These are all the brand, okay? So if you can, and you can identify them, the brand people, and they have been identified. They have agreed to cooperate, which is a very good news. It's called EPR, Extended Producer Responsibility, okay? It's being done all over the world. Okay? The person who is using the packaging, the company which is using the packaging, okay, Pran, for example, okay, small little bit of dal and things like that packaged in this kind of small, is becoming smaller and smaller today. You get little shampoo, 5 taka shampoo with the thing, okay? So you've got to find a way how you can get it back. So there is a lot of work now going on in the extended producer responsibility, which is right. So the whole idea of management, recycling, and the government taking a role started in 2002 with the notification ban on polythene bag. We know that, 2002. And then slowly, when you move up in around about 2000, where we can see 2020, which is just last year. And you can see that most of it is happening in the last few years of this whole activity. So we have just started working on this problem. And the government is active in it. And then there's a piloting initiative on the extended producer responsibility, and the producers in Bangladesh have agreed. They agreed that they will cooperate with the government. Next, please. And so the problems I've talked about in various ways. I don't want to go through this anymore. So I've talked about the recycling has gone down, and the problem is that, look, if it's a clean piece of plastic, it has a use. Even if it's multi-layered, something can be done. But if it becomes dirty, if it gets mixed up, if it goes to the landfill, then there is no use. Now people are trying to make oil out of plastic. They can even use dirty plastic. Okay, so but you've got to find a way where the tokai or whoever goes to the landfill, so he or she picks it up. Okay. Now remember, these some of these polythene bags are very, very thin. So you know, it takes like how long will it take them to collect 1 kilogram? It take a long time. So if you pay them only 10 taka, they will not collect it. So there, like our President of BPGMEA said, we must find a way to incentivize this. Okay, it's very important. Who will take the year? Everybody must take responsibility. The person who consumed the thing and who threw it away, the company which made the product, and also the plastic company, and the government has a social responsibility. If we all take responsibility, then we can find a way. And in India, they have a program. They have a program where these children, if they collect this soil plastic, so any plastic, if they bring it to a place, they can get one full meal. And that, you know, one meal is worth a lot of money today. I mean, even in Bangladesh, you can't, even if you give dal and bhat, it will still be about 50 taka, right? So if you, let's say, if they bring in 1 kilogram and they can get a meal, and that's a social responsibility also doing. You've got something going, and India, they've started that program. Other countries also doing it. So you've got to find a way of collecting the dirty plastic, the littered plastic, and the wasted plastic, which is going here and there. Next, please. These are the various steps that have been described. I will not go into that. There are. I've talked about many of these things, that how to go through this whole thing. There's a public awareness. There is source separation, and I've talked about incentivizing, and there is about how you can get people to participate in these things, and then at the end you have got enforcement, of course, that is very important, and then monitor and adjust. Next, please. Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Professor Ijaz, for your nice presentation, very informative and very details. But I'd like to remind something that regarding the waste plastic, a collection, it is relating to the per capita income. Because in about 3-4 years before it was 50%, now it come down to 36%. Because your per capita income is now $2,200 before it was around $1,700-1,800. So more the we become per capita income increasing, the less the collection of the waste plastic will be reduced, because of this income level is increasing. That is one reason that what I believe personally, and of course that is the way. And the other thing is this, that in one German company, I forgot the name, maybe Hossain something, they identified 10 rivers in the globe, they are polluting the ocean. Among the 10 riverine, Ganges is one of the 10. And the number 1 is the Yellow River of the China. The Yellow River of China, they carry so many plastic waste into the ocean. If you compare with the number 1 and Ganges is the number 10, you will find few hundred times difference. So far I remember in my memory it is 0.031% is carried by the Ganges if the Yellow River carries 100 kg. So it is very, very less, number one. Number two, in the Asia, if you consider the pollution statistics, you will find Vietnam, you will find Malaysia, you will find Thailand, you will find Sri Lanka even much, much higher than what Bangladesh is polluting. So in this record also, if we make, because Professor Ijaz study is only concerning the Bangladesh environment. It is not a comparative study. But as far as if you consider the marine pollution, it is like carbon emission, it is not restricted in the territorial zone. It covers all the oceans. You will find lot of plastic waste in Japan beaches coming from China or Indonesia. But Japanese is a zero waste country, they are not wasting. So that similarly, in the ocean pollution, Bangladesh contribution is much, much less, what I studied, what I found, compared to other Asian countries. So that we have to look into it. But one thing we need to also consider that, as he mentioned, that recycling, waste, reverse engineering, we recover the well. Waste to energy plant is one of the best solution for the waste plastic, because many waste plastic cannot be recycled for any other purposes. In Japan, I have seen they are taking all the waste plastic into the waste to energy plant and making the energy, green energy for the, there is 28 waste to energy plant available in Tokyo city. So like this, Dhaka should come up with some sort of this kind of. So we expect that our consultant or the professor will recommend our policymakers in that direction, how we can minimize, how we can solve the plastic waste problem. So with this, I conclude my remarks. May I request Mr. Yusuf, who is one of the plastic waste converter into wealth, for his remarks onto the keynote paper.
Okay. Thank you, Shamim bhai. I'd like to thank Ijaz sir for the presentation and showing the actual scenario on the plastic waste generation and recycling. So I'd like to make one comment. Also, I'd like to thank you, the BPGMEA, for giving me the opportunity. That yes, I agree with Professor Ijaz that the recycling rate is going down, but it is very important to understand why it is happening and what is the scenario. So when we look at the plastic and people talk about the plastic, first thing we come into the mind is this sort of bottle. These are very well recycled. I think the recycle rate is above 70%, near about 80%, one of the highest in the world. And the second kind, we understand shampoo bottle and other bottle, chair, furniture, these are very well recycled. The recycle rate is quite high. So that is also not a problem. And the problem started for us is the polythene bag. I think that is one of the things that actually created the problem. Bangladesh is the first country which banned polythene bag in 2002, but unfortunately the usage of polythene bag has astronomically increased. I think when it was banned 2002, the polythene bag was only 8% in our plastic stream. Today it is 56% in Dhaka city. So that is the main problem, that a single plastic is creating that much problem. And the second thing is the multi-layer, as Ijaz sir showed that some of the packaging materials are used 3 to 13 layers. So when you have a 13-layer product, including aluminum and various sort of plastic, it is impossible to recycle. So, and I personally think that the plastic problem can be addressed that even the design stage. Because I don't think that 13 layers is absolutely necessary. It's maybe for the cost point of view. So now if we look at in other countries like Europe and America, what they have done, they are putting a time limit that, okay, you produce, you have to use 25%, 30%, 40% recycled product when you actually generate the thing. Like the Unilever has declared 25% all across globe that they will use. So that means that in this packaging material in Europe, in 2025, they have to put 25% of the recycled material in their food contact or other application. So they are forced to actually design the product so that it can be recycled and used again. If we look at Coca-Cola, they have committed, they are the #1 polluter in the world. They have committed 50% that in their all packaging material, including water bottle, that they will be using 50% recycled material minimum by 2030. Similarly, PepsiCo has declared 40%. Why they are declaring it? Because the regulation in Europe and America is forcing them. So now, once they commit that the technology is available, you can produce food contact, very high-end product from the recycled material. We have seen it in Europe, in America, all the major multinationals, even we are doing it in Bangladesh. So the policy is very stringent in other countries, so the technology is coming, recycling rate is going up. So I would say that if we can come up with the strong policy that whoever is using, they have to use 25%, 20%, 30%, 40% recycled material in their product, what Europe and America has started regulating. I think the recycling rate will be going up, because then people will be designing the product which can be recycled. The problem is if you design the product which cannot be recycled, then nothing can be done. But the product can be designed using the recycled material. And the second point, that why can't we recycle the multi-layer plastic? I mean, that's a lot of people. The problem is we can only take out the primary layer. So when we do the recycling of the bottle, we can get 80% yield. So it is a good, I mean, we can recover 80%. But in the multi-layer, we can only recover 30 to 40%. Only one major layer we can recover. So 40% to 30%, I think, yeah, Jashim bhai, Shamim bhai, you cannot run an industry by recovering rate of yield of 30 to 40%. That is not possible. If the primary layer was 60% LDP, we could recover and actually recreate the product. So that is important. And the second thing I would like to point out that, yes, there was a lot of press that Bangladesh is the 10th polluter of ocean. I mean, the whole state data came from Dr. Jenna Jembek of University of Georgia. But my point is, it has been said that Bangladesh sent about 310,000 tons of plastic into the Bay of Bengal. But I don't think that Bangladesh produced that much of plastic, because we don't have any data that how much plastic actually came through the Ganges River from India, how much it came from the Jamuna River from Tibet. We just don't know. It is just measured at the Bay of Bengal point, and we are immediately number 10, and India not even in the radar. So I think that that sort of statistics is very important. I really appreciate Ijaz sir, West concern. They have actually done some study. Yes, they have said that we don't know where 200,000 plastic has gone. We need to find that thing out. But I assume that 200,000 tons gone to ocean. Still 100,000 tons is missing. So I think that this data, we need to get the support from the Department of Environment and government and actually measure that how much actually we have polluted and how much it actually flow through from someone else. And the second thing is, if we can have the policy that we can actually, all the product that we produce that are designed from the beginning that it can be recycled, it can be done. Now the one-time plastic, that one-time cup plate, it can be recycled, it can be again created, that cup. But the issue is that legal or illegal in Bangladesh? This is a problem. Recently, BFSA has come up with a regulation, just recently, claiming that if you are a US FDA and European Union certified, yes, this is okay. But BSTI hasn't said anything. So we can recycle and produce the product, but if we cannot sell it in Bangladesh, who would do that? So I think that there are a lot of opportunities are coming up, and I don't think we cannot avoid plastic, no matter what we say. Nobody in the world can, because the alternative not there. If we stop plastic today, I think it will take only 1 year to get rid of all the trees in the world. Simple. So it's an ecological disaster. We have to live with the plastic. Plastic, when we produce, not much waste is generated, as Shamim bhai said. This is true. Problem started when we dispose. And if we dispose it, soil, river, then that is the problem. But if you have a proper collection system, that we can intercept before going into ocean, river, or landfill, it can be reused with a policy support. There are a lot of discussion ongoing on the EPR guideline. There's certain policy support, the recycling rate, we can again bring it up to 50%, 70% or above. But on the other hand, we have to be crystal clear that a strong regulatory and the testing body in Bangladesh need to be here. Unfortunately, when we do the testing, all the testing, we are doing it outside the country. It's very expensive, very time consuming. We need to have a very strong testing body here, certification body here, that when we recycle and produce the plastic, it's actually food grade. Today, in order to prove the food grade, I have to send my samples to US or in Europe. That need not to be done. It can be easily done in Bangladesh and certified so that people can increase the recycling and feel confident that from the recycled product, from the waste, we are actually can generate food contact or a very high-end application. And another opportunity, I mean, the ocean plastic, I think one of the presentation I saw that Adidas is making shoe from 100% ocean plastic. And that shoe is 70 to 80% more expensive than the regular shoe made out of virgin plastic. And the shoe that I actually bought a pair is a $250. 11 million pairs were sold in 1 year. And now they're targeting 22 million. And I was very happy last week, Bata has launched first shoe made from ocean plastic. I think they brought the yarn from China, but that can be done here also. So I think that, yes, we have a problem, but we have a huge opportunity also, that we can actually save a significant amount of money. And to appreciate that, currently the virgin import is around 1.4 million metric ton, but 300,000 tons were recycled in Bangladesh. And 300,000 tons means we save $300 million. That's not a small amount of money. With the support, we can easily increase to $700–800 million saving. And that should be the goal, working towards that. How can we not only, I mean, yeah, we can save the money, and this recycled product is a huge demand all over the world. And the market, I just give an example, like Coca-Cola alone, they use what? 2 to 3 million metric tons of PET, virgin. And they will reduce it 50%. Means that 1.5 million metric ton will be swinging from virgin to recycle by 2030. This is a huge opportunity for us. Pepsi is going 40%, Unilever 25 to 30%, Danone, Avian Water going 100%. The opportunity is coming up, and I think it's for Bangladesh, not only for the local market, also for the international market. A huge opportunity is just right on our doorstep if we can get our act together and manage our plastic waste properly. So I think that it's a very sustainable, and I have a little bit concern, we should not produce any plastic which cannot be recycled. That is where the ban is coming. If I interpret in Europe or America, that single use means which one you cannot recycle, like the air cleaning products and other. That is getting into ban. You have to make all the plastic which must be able to recycle. There is no ban. That is what my definition of single plastic. There is a lot of confusion. So we should not design anything. I should say 13 layer with the aluminum which cannot be recycled. If it is recyclable, it should be allowed, and it should contribute to our economy. That's all I want to add. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Yusuf, for your comments. I would like to remind that UN has made one study that those country has banned the shopping bag single-use plastic, and those country does not ban the shopping use plastic. UN study has found out that those country has put any kind of levy or taxes for the shopping bag you have to buy from the shops. That country reduced 50%. And those country banned totally, like Bangladesh did not succeed in total eradication or controlling. So this is the policy that we have to follow. And again, as the Khadem Yusuf was telling, that multinational companies and government should come up with a policy how we can make the recycled waste plastic into profitable concern. One thing I would like to remind that we know the Pacific garbage patch. There is a huge accumulation of plastic into the ocean. The size is bigger than the France. That is, the size of the plastic accumulated is bigger than the France. But none of the government is taking initiative to collect it, to recycle it, and to make it. So we ask the government and the multinational companies to come forward to use the waste plastic to make it well and use in our daily plastic use. So thank you very much. Now I'd like to request former Secretary Mr. Tarek Siddiqui to come forward with his comments. So may I made any mistake?
No, no, thank you. Only Masud Siddiqui.
Masud Siddiqui, okay. Okay, thank you, Mr.
Thank you
Masud.
very much. Thank you very much. Actually, it was a beautiful presentation, very comprehensive, very professional. And the way Professor Ijaz has highlighted the problems, I was really worried about the future scenario, that what is happening in our environment. The marine pollution, actually what has happened, we are signatory to Paris Agreement. And now it is getting more momentum for our countries to look into the environment, how to save this beautiful environment and to make our tomorrow better. And I think this presentation will enhance our awareness, and it will give an opportunity to think about what is happening around us. Even in Dhaka city, we are responsible for pollution, because I find in my government colonies where I live, when you walk in the morning, you will find that from the upstairs, from the kitchen, somebody is throwing garbage. They are not putting in one bag, but it is from the kitchen they are throwing down. So who lives in the downstairs, they feel the problem. But why this happened? Because they are the most educated people in the society. But what is the problem there? So it is a problem of actually awareness and problem of mentality and the way we see the waste management in Bangladesh. And in future, what is coming in the space pollution. So all the stations are there, debris are there. So most of the countries are now looking how to clear the space. And the same is happening to the ocean. And Professor Ijaz has made so many recommendations how to overcome the problem, and I think this is a very real and very real problem, and solution is also real. We can talk a lot of things, but solution is the most important part. And he has made so many recommendations how to collect those waste and how to manage by recycling and other ways. And secondly, our second speaker, Mr. Khandakar Mahmud Yusuf, he was also very outspoken about the issue, and I think that his organization is doing very good thing in this sector. And he is a very professional man, studied in the US, and he was in the Silicon Valley, so he knows the science of this problem. And there is a controversy regarding the data, how we manage the data and how we manage the statistics, because most of the pollutants are coming from Bangladesh, and it goes straight to the river and the ocean, Bay of Bengal. But how much of is coming from upper streams and to the downstream? There is no reliable data on it. And I don't know, the Professor Ijaz can think of it, how to measure it actually, and to have real data, so that we can understand that what is the real scenario. So plastic management is a problem not for ordinary people, it's a problem for whole country and for the government. So regarding the solution, I would request what actually our Honorable Chairman of the FBCCI was talking to this morning. I personally feel this, that what are the institutions to monitor and what are the institutions to reduce this problem in our country. You can say that government is a one big party here, civil society is a part, professionals is a part, other bodies are part. But above all, I can stress the need of involvement in the local government system in the whole process. Because from the very village level to Pojala level, district level, down to the division and to the central government, it is the responsibility, primary responsibility of the city government to manage this problem, pollution, recycling, collecting, and to make it a more productive elements. So in the whole process, we need to involve the local government representative, people's representative, and they must understand who makes policy. They should understand that what is going on and how to solve this problem. So you must involve all stakeholders in the process. Otherwise, we cannot actually solve the problem. So I would request our friends, presenter and the distinguished discussant, to consider the importance of local government management and their involvement and the responsibility for collecting and recycling materials. Other things are that statistics data. They have very comprehensive studies the matter. I enjoyed it, and I found it very. It will contribute in future planning to waste management in Bangladesh. This is very remarkable presentation, and they're very capable, and they're very made a very substantive recommendation. I fully agree with all those, and I'm personally grateful to you that you have asked me to stay here, and I'm very happy to be with you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Masud Siddiqui, for your nice comments. Now we are almost concluding part. Now may I request Honorable President of BPCCI to have his comments onto the keynote presentation.
Thank you, Shamim bhai, President BPGMEA. I'd like to thanks to Dr. Ijaz Hossain. He is very close to us. He is working for us as a consultant sometime. And today's presentation is a sustainability plastic waste management. So, Mr. Ijaz, and also thank you Khadem and Mr. Khadem, Yusuf, and Mr. Masud Siddiqui, our former secretary, for your valuable comments. Our president, when Dr. Ijaz presenting, and he says, "This is not my paper; he's just presenting." Yes, we believe because of when we saw some figures and facts, we believe it. Because you see, when if you discuss and you also find out there is some issues. Because if you presenting these papers, you never do like this. In our, who is consultant or this kind of research and document who make, they have in our environment who is working. Some NGOs is working, they are making their presentation. Some companies working, they make their presentation. Every company, every people, they have their own agenda. They have their own things, So, what Khadem is saying, and also you agree with us, yes, Bangladesh, our plastic sector is growing. We are now as per report, is a 9 kg per capita consumption, and Dhaka is a 22 kg. Yes, we believe. And if it is 2005, there is a 7 or 6 kg. Now is, if our lifestyle and our per capita consumption, our GDP growth, if you consider, this is absolutely right. And we make Plastic Association already make the roadmap for 2030. There is a comes average consumption will be the 35 kilo. 35
by
kilo is
2030.
the average consumption. National average will be the 35 kilo. So there is some figures I don't agree, like about LDF things, what packaging things. Packaging is not a 55 kg, 55% is not our consumption.
No, that's not the consumption. That's the
Oysters.
Waste.
Okay.
Sorry, I think that is the amount of LDP in the waste. Waste.
Anyhow,
Among the total waste, he
30,
wanted to
50,
say the
55%
55% is the
is the
thin
packaging. It's not LDP. It's packaging.
plastic.
Okay.
Packaging.
Yeah. So one thing is, Mr. Ijaz is mentioning, if it is the oysters price, you see, oysters by PET is 35 to 40 kg, 40 taka per kg. SDP is 35 to 40 kg taka per kg. PS is 40 to 45 taka per kg. That means this is a waste is a very expensive. Sometimes we are importing finished wastes material. Now we say our average plastic raw materials price is around $1,400 per ton, and waste is also around $1,000 per ton. Waste, the pellet, I am saying wet pellet. That means after recycling. So there is a huge demand also. And the what Masud Siddiqui, Mr. Masud Siddiqui says, our which one is in the outside, because of the which one we mentioned already the waste for industrial waste almost we use 100% almost, because we never cost there is a wastage because we can use. So we use almost 100%, maybe 99%, 1% or 1.5% maybe in the outside. Even bag, even the plastic bag, which one raw materials comes, that bag also sometimes we use, we recycle and we use our factory. Because of the, we don't have the collection system. Because of the collection system, we cannot collect these things. If we collect at source, segregation at source, if we have a separate bin for the collection, so all material price was like 30 taka or 35 taka. 35 taka. Because of we are not segregation, all are going to the with all the the field, and there is a wastes and other vegetable wastes and plastic wastes together. We are throwing the things. So also we need to educate the people to mentality, to change the mentality to how to use plastic, how to. This is my house. I saw my wife. She always taking plastic wastes separate, and monthly she sell around 2,000 taka or 3,000 taka. So this is 2,000, 3,000 taka is nothing for us, but she is doing because of separating, so she can sell. So I think we need to educate all the people, our media, our civil society, our everyone should be engaged. Should be this program. Of course, this is a very, we are always telling this, we need to have a local government engagement. This is very important, and the city corporation, we are paying for that. Everyone we are paying for collect our garbage, but when there is any policy making things or environment ministry, they are talking, who is talking there in meeting, some NGOs is there, some people are there, but who is the real player, who is real entrepreneur or real people, stakeholder, they will not present. I attended many program with the environment ministry. I never saw our LGD people, our local government people. I don't see our municipality people, because of the lifestyle, our income generating. Now is even rural area is a very now is become a town. So there is a consumption also, lot of consumption. There also we need to take care of all these things. And another thing is what Shamim Bhai and Mr. Khadem also saying, the figure for the river pollution. So river pollution, how much we are doing, how much coming
Upstream.
from upstream. This is also one thing, because when we saw this kind of things, then everyone is scared. Oh, Bangladesh is doing. Actually, Bangladesh is not doing. Ocean is. So I think. Thank you very much. Of course, we need to work for good recycling system, collection system, and this should be policy. And when we make the policy, and we should have a interministerial meeting, who is all the stakeholder should be there. Now is Environment Ministry maybe do something, no one even they don't agree. So sometime the Industry Ministry, they are making industry policy. So they give lot of priority this and that. But when the our Finance Ministry or NBR is, they don't care. They don't care, even they don't think this thing. We always saying, okay, if it is any policy, should be all stakeholders should be there, and we should make the implementation. If we do the implementation, I think this should be, because now is only 9 kilo. We are now is crying. We are thinking. We already banned. The government already banned the polythene, and also there is a some multi-layer product is there. So multi-layer product, how we can reduce the designing scope, or what will be the actually other countries doing. Shamim Bhai is already mentioned. Other countries, some is recycling, some is maybe incineration, some going for the making the energy or all these things. Bangladesh also thinking same way. But we have a lot of scope to recycle industry. But I am really question mark about the recycling. What you were saying earlier was the 70%, 65%.
50% to 36%.
Now it's become 36%. That means reduce. But what I understand, our recycling already increased.
Yes.
But why? Because of the
increased. The total amount is increased.
But because of the lamination, that's why
Thin plastic is
plastic,
not collecting
yeah.
sufficiently.
Yeah. So it will be solved if our if it is our the collection system is good, because the Tokai, they are going for the collection. If they collect something is heavy 1 kilo, maybe polythene, they need to collection more and more, so they are not economically feasible. That's why they don't come. So I think so we maybe we should come up with a we need some policy and incentivize the recycling system. And we are telling this time also from FBCCI, we for this budget we tell to our recycling industry should be duty free and VAT free, and long term tax free, tax exempted. And also other than this, we need to give them some incentive, so that there will be the things. And also we need to discuss the real solution. I think Mr. Ijaz is a very pro-friendly, industry-friendly personality. So we need. I already mentioned him. We want to add him our advisory committee in the FBCCI, so that we can have this kind of issues. He can help us more on this nationally to our all the sector, because today we are discussing about plastic. There is a lot of recycling issues is different sector. So recycling industry really is one of the huge industry where we can have a lot of employment generation also. So thank you very much. I want to conclude my things. I think it's a wonderful discussion. This is a very important discussion, especially for plastic industry, because we are now is there is a lot of NGOs is they are working against plastic, but if we go for their recommendation, then there will be the big problem, because we already saw the 2002 there is a ban on shopping bag, but they ban the polythene. Polythene is a huge thing. It's a huge thing, packaging. So packaging is increasing, and 2030 we are coming up with a other double, triple consumption. So if we don't come up with a solution, then our industry will not.
So by definition, this is also packaging.
Yeah, this is also.
This is also packaging.
This is also single.
Yeah,
Single use.
and this is also packaging, because this is you package the water. So PET is also, it's not only polythene, so it's also.
So I think thank you very much to invite me here and to say something for this subject. But this is a very important subject, Shamim bhai. I request you to we should have a some small group meeting, like Mr. Ijaz and some environmental people, even including NGOs who is working against the things. We should sit with them, we talk to them, and we should come up with a solution. Otherwise it will be sometime the government people if
Misunderstand.
they can make any decision. So before decision we should react.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So thank you very much.
Thanks to Honorable President FBCCI for his more emphasis on the policy formulation and regulation by the government, how to tackle the waste plastic recycling. So we are in the concluding part. I will request Professor Ijaz, the next time when we meet, we come up with the solution, how we can decide, how we can reduce how we can encourage the recycling industry, and what is his suggestion. I believe Professor Ijaz has found out the problem, and definitely he will be succeeding in finding out the solution too. So this is all. So in the conclusion, again I would like to remind all the viewers that please don't litter the plastic waste. Plastic waste is a wealth, so you dispose it properly, so there will be for the future generation, it will be good for us, good for the nation, good for everybody. Thank you all for participating in today's. Thanks to the distinguished panelists for the presentation. Thank you.